Incorrect.
You're not talking about Jacob. When they say our fathers, you're not talking about Jacob.
Well, it says where Abraham purchased one fucking cave, singular, not multiple. This is a lie.
Wait. Hold on. In Acts, they hold on. Let's go back to Acts where it says
all communication is hypnosis.
So Jacob went down to Egypt and he died, and our fathers, they were carried back to Shechem and laid in the tomb. Can
we read the Tanakh together?
Bro, hold on.
I'm a social Tanakher. Can we do it together?
The cave is in Hebron. The cave is in Hebron.
Bro, they're not saying that.
And him, you want to be Jewish, bro? Don't you realize it's just more fun to make fun of people, him? Why would you want to be Jewish, him? Do you hear this shit? It's just more fun to make fun of people. You're ridiculous, him. And Amare is even more ridiculous than all of us. Amare, why don't you just tell us about your personal life? We don't really care about your religious fucking opinions or your fucking philosophy, man. We don't give a fuck.
What were some traumatic events that happened to you as a child? Please tell us.
This is the problem.
Where was Jacob buried, Amari? Where was Jacob buried?
What they do is they don't have the ability, right?
Hey,
they don't have the ability to go outside of the box.
I hope you get some good Chicago pussy tonight, and it better be hairy. That's the best shit.
Listen, there is a saying in Israel. It says that what one pussy hair can do, 10 horses cannot.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Amari, you're the one who doesn't have a full picture.
There is no 2,000 years. Bro.
Amari, God bless you, man.
It's not even fair, bro.
Amazing.
Amari,
it's not even like this isn't. You're just you. We all stop for Abishai. I speak and you guys go crazy.
Mashallah, Halabibi. The boy knows Shalom. All right, I'm going out tonight, gentlemen. I'm going out. Yeah, Avishai, don't you realize, like, you know, anyways, Avishai, where do you live? New York? I mean, it looks like you're with some Chabadniks there.
Yeah, I'm Miami. I'm in Yeshiva.
You live in Miami?
Yeah, I'm in Miami.
Oh my God, I'm in Yeshiva. I was in South Beach for Art Basel this past December, and I'm walking past that building. It says like Eternity on it or something, and then there was, you know, anyways, they put up a big menorah, and so somebody broke it, you know. So anyways, we're driving over to this other area of Miami, and as we're passing through South Beach, there's like 30 Orthodox Jews, you know, walking into synagogue. And I told them, you know, that somebody vandalized the menorah, and they were like, oh my gosh, like we'll have to, you know. Anyways, they went back and they fixed it and cleaned it all up. But Miami's a great place, man. I love it down there. It's the best beach town I've ever been to.
There's Israeli flags everywhere here. It's really crazy.
There's milk cartons everywhere with all these poor fucking Israeli kidnapped victims, and it's like, you know, that city like really went out and, you know, demonstrated. I mean, it's, you know, Israelis are the victims here, and the whole world has gone bananas, but that's what the whole world always does.
Yeah.
It's bizarro world, man. I mean, you're going to yeshiva to essentially dehypnotize yourself from the clown world. But just know that Clown House is technically dinner for schmucks. So just know that, like,
It is, literally.
you might be at that dinner table too, you know? I mean, Rabbono Shalom, if the food is good, you still might eat.
As long as we say the blessing on it.
Have you seen the movie Dinner for Schmucks with Steve Carell?
Yeah, Steve Carell is a genius, man. I love that.
Yeah. Anyways, I do believe that all communication is hypnosis, and it's a triggering statement. And it's like saying, oh, do you have an ego? Okay, can you show me your ego?
So funny.
So anyways, I mean, yeah, it's about concepts. It's about...
Are you also Zen?
Yeah, I'm Zen on this app as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if I was on about a month ago when I had some more time. We're on a break for Pesach now, but I heard you reading some poetry, some Rumi or something, I think like a month ago.
Yeah. Anyways, my point is, what is my point anymore? My point was, I don't know, it's a nice Saturday night, but I don't know if I should just go have a nice dinner down the street, or if I should take a shower.
I'd say we read Tanakh together. I'm a social Tanakker. I don't read it alone.
This is your Havrutza. Let's make a minion. Invite people to the room, boy, Naishaloilim.
Bro, 14 hours a day of nonstop studying these texts is, it's definitely not easy.
It's hardcore.
I record a lot of audiobooks, and I have found that like reading out loud for 2 hours a day is like a very healthy thing to do. But if you push yourself 4 to 6 hours of like reading a book out loud into a microphone, holy fuck, it's exhausting.
Yeah, I need a lot of water.
What makes you read 14 hours a day, man?
Bro, we have to wake up, then we have to do prayers, then after right after prayers, literally, this is my state, this is my mental state.
You're at the Shiva, you said, right? You're like
yeah. We have to study Tanya, then we have to study Gemara, we have to go over the Mishnah, we have to study Tanakh, we have to go over the Torah, we have to study Haggadah, we have to study the rituals of Pesach and what everything means. So it's several hours a day on each one of the books, from the Mishnah, Gemara, to Tanakh, the Talmud, prayers, of course, Shatarit or Chakras, how the Ashkenaz say, is like a 3-hour prayer when you're in yeshiva. So it's just like from before the sun comes up till way after it goes down.
That's good. How do you think the whole Jesus thing started?
I think he's a composite. That's what my honest opinion. I don't think he was an actual one guy, and if he was, the stories are definitely based on various things, like the cross, for example. Cross in Greek means stake, like one post in the ground. And if you go back and you look through atheist history, which is what I love to do, secular history, where there's not a lot of bias, there's no T crucifixions. There is one, and it's in ancient Greece, and it's Orpheus. That's the only T thing, and he, of course, he went down to get his lover after 3 days in Hades or whatever, and came back. It's the same story with Jesus. But the Romans crucified people on one stake. You put one stake in the ground, and you'd nail both of their hands together right above their head, and both their feet together. And so, obviously, in the desert, wood was very scarce back then. Or trees. You weren't about to use 2 big-ass beams of wood to crucify a person in that T shape. That T shape is far predates Christianity by over 1,000 years, where they would hang scarecrows on that to protect their crops. So that's where that shape actually comes from, and that shape is like.
I know, but Avishai, you do realize that, like in the cross, the horizontal represents a woman and the vertical represents a man, meaning that it's the phallic energy or the pole, but the horizontal or the whole Jesus mythology has to do also with Osiris and the Egyptian mythology.
It is. It's a cult. That symbol is from the cult of Osiris. It's very archetypal, and it's found in some parts of Hinduism. It's found in various. I mean, there's 80,000 religions. It's found probably in 20,000 of them.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. Either Jesus was created. So Jesus was certainly created by Jews. But the thing is, obviously these Jews worked for the Romans, like Paul, for example.
Correct, the Flavians, Titus.
Yeah. And so either this story was made to pacify the Jews who were revolting, or it was made to conquer the Romans and the other pagans to worship the Jewish God. And make, pacify them. So I don't know either way.
It backfired either way, then, in that case.
I mean, not really, because now you have the whole world worshiping the Jewish God. But if it backfired to pacify the Jews, then yeah, it backfired for sure. Do you think the Jews were righteous in like revolting against the Romans? Because
yeah, I do.
I heard that the Romans were not that bad. You know, they just wanted to put like a statue in the synagogue of Caesar.
The eagle they wanted to put, which is the symbol of Zeus, they wanted to do that. But the only one who was ever good to the Jews was Alexander the Great, and he's written about it in the Talmud. A lot of you don't know this. Alexander the Great, he gets off his horse and he kneels before the high priest of Israel at the temple, because he said he saw him in a dream. And not only is it written in the Talmud, it's also written in Alexander the Great's biography when he came to Israel. So he was very well respected there, and he was never disrespectful towards the Jews. He's the only one of course, he's Macedonian, which isn't Greek or Roman, but people kind of merge him with Greek. But he was the only ruler from that part of the world that was ever kind to Jews when he was there.
So you said they wanted to put an eagle?
Yeah, that was the base. Yeah, they wanted to put an eagle up, which is the bird of Zeus. That's why America has it. When they went in Philadelphia, when Benjamin Franklin and all the other gentlemen were deciding what the emblem of the U.S. is, they chose that from Zeus. It was going to be two horses, which are these pagan twins called Hengist and Horsa, which are the grandsons of Odin. So they were going to have like Odin, and I mean that's why you have all the days of the week. Not to like hop around a little bit, but the days of the week are all pagan gods. Thursday is Thor, Wednesday is Woden, which is the Anglo-Saxon pronunciation of Odin. Friday is Freya, Thor's mom. Saturday, Tuesday, Q means sky god. I kind of already went through that, but Monday, Moon Day, day you worship the moon. Sunday, in Latin, is Sol Invictus, the day you worship the sun. So, the whole system was to get people to the whole world is pagan, and that's why Jews are here. The only non-pagan people, well, I guess now besides Muslims, but they believe in some crazy shit as well.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I can see why the Jews would revolt that. I mean, obviously you can't have another god in your temple.
Yeah, Jesus said in their bullshit Bible, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. What Jew is going to say that under Roman occupation? Because they ask about it, do we have to pay taxes? And he's like, yeah, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Do you think that Menachem Begin was that would have been his sentiment? Yeah, we have to pay the British or the Ottomans. Before that, we have to give them their jizya. Like, dude, who the fuck would say something stupid like that? The whole thing is favorable to Romans, and that's how we know for sure that it was written. We know by the codes, the code structure of that it was written by Jews, or at least helped written by Jews. But the favorability of Romans is it proves that that and the similarities between Titus's own personal biography and his military conquest, it completely matches to a T the story of Jesus from start to finish. But we know that the Bible is very pro-Roman. I mean, to the extent that all of these movies and 300 and Spartans, it's Greek and Roman, Greco-Roman, half the fucking movies and everything that we do in all of our culture is nothing but Greek and Roman.
It was almost like they wanted a theological power of their own that sort of mirrored the Jewish rabbinate for some reason.
I agree with that, yeah.
Almost so like, I don't know why. Maybe to just spread the theology, maybe it was easier than like fighting wars with people. They could just bring them under their rule through the church.
Yeah. A lot of their ideas came from ergot and a lot of psychedelics and stuff. I mean, that's where democracy came from an ergot trip with Democritus. I think that they would just take psychedelics and meditate on things and think, how the fuck can we have more power? How can we have more control? And under psychedelics, especially something light like ergot, which is kind of like a light LSD, you'd be able to have, it's like a microdose now. Like, it opens your mind. Everything's more colorful. You can think a lot better. You have energy. You don't have brain fog, so you can just sit there for hours and meditate until you create some sort of crazy system like democracy or like Christianity.
How to have more power, yes.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
what it's all about throughout history, man. Just power. It's not about right and wrong, really. Just how can we have more power over them?
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
I had another question, but I forgot it. How do you feel about the future of the world?
I used to get caught up with it now. Like everybody is always thinking the world is ending. And whenever you look at history, especially the Christians, they think that the world is ending and that Jesus is coming back any day now because he wrote, "I'm coming quickly." And before, oh, that's right, he said before the 12 disciples even pass away that he's coming back. So that right there's a massive hole. But there's a
Before
song
the persecution, yeah, I was like, what? And that never happened.
Yeah, literally. I think it's that song by Billy Joel. Like, we didn't start the fire. The world's always been turning. Or, no, it's always been burning since the world's been turning. And then it has, like, Coca-Cola, DuPont, like, and it goes through everything. I think that the world always seems like it's ending. And the fire, it just continues to burn. And when we become aware of the degree of the fire that's burning, then we're like, oh my God, when you look at the fire, you think that everything is the fire and it's all melting down. But I think it's always been like this. I think the world has always been 50% darkness, 50% light, 50% good, 50% evil. And I think they somehow feed each other. There's some sort of cooperation between the two where they need each other to live in the third dimension anyway. But I think the world is probably, King Solomon said it best, there's nothing new under the sun. This is the same shit, just a different day. So I think it's going to continue to be exactly what it's been.
It's a brilliant take. Do you think the Jews...
Hold on one sec, Kim. Let me just say that when you read the Tanya, Avishai, do you get the feeling that the more we think, the more we speak, the further from the truth we get, and that we should just stop thinking and end our problems, Rabbeinu Shalom?
No, I think we need people that don't think at all, and then we need people that do. I think it's 50-50. I think we have to have a balance.
Good answer.
No, hold on a second, him. My point is if everybody read the Tanya and understood it, I'm telling you that there would be no more debate. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it would definitely help.
Do you think international Jewry has godlike power at this point in the world, or no?
Godlike power. What do you mean by that?
The power of life and death.
What do you mean, to like raise people from the dead? I don't know what you mean.
Just power, man. I wouldn't get so caught up in the godlike, but just, do you think international Jewry is like extremely powerful at this point in the game?
I think that we are the best. I don't know anything about electricity, but there's certain metals that are better at conduiting, if that's a word. My vocabulary is not so good right now because I haven't slept. But I think that we're better at passing through or multiplying the power of God here than any other group of people on Earth. We're better at manifesting power and things than other people. But us ourselves, I think we're just conduits. Kind of like copper is really good. I mean, than say brass at conducting. That's the word I was looking for. Conducive. Conducting electricity or conducting power. I don't think we're the source of the power. I think God is the source of the power, but we're better conducting.
Listen, let me just put it this way. There's 1.3 billion Indians. Do you know how many Indians live in multi-million-dollar homes in America versus the number of Jews that live in multi-million-dollar homes? It's like 10 to 1. There are so many fucking Indians. The whole thing about Jews control this, Jews control that, when people say that, it's just propaganda and hypnosis. Thus, all communication is hypnosis, because if you really broke down the ethnicities and you looked at the real breakdown of socioeconomics, I mean, Jews are still such a tiny minority amongst a giant WASP community in general. But now you have, you have all these Asian communities which are so wealthy and they're so smart and they have such big, wonderful families and they're just good people and they're just normal Americans. But they're from fucking India.
They're lucky as fuck.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're under the radar.
Yeah, they are under the radar.
Nobody's attacking Indians, you know what I'm saying? Like, people kind of joke around with the scammer thing, but nobody's like fucking marching for the death of Indians. You know, even though they're wealthier and they're just as smart as us. Yeah. I mean, there's the two smartest groups of people in the world are Jews and Indians, or Hindus, the Hindustani people from I don't know what region of India.
I think it's the word Jew itself, which causes a lot of problems because it's like a
Yeah.
short word and it's like a derogatory word when people say it's like Jew. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
who are we gonna attack?
True.
Oh, just say that really easy word of that minority, Jew.
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, Jews created and own the Federal Reserve, so it's like they own the American dollar. So it's like, man, you can't really compete with that.
Is that really the breakdown of the Jekyll Island meeting? I mean, I don't even think that's true. I think it's all wasps, to tell you the truth. And I know a guy.
It is.
I know a guy. I know. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Jews in finance and in banking, which are, you know, billionaires. But the whole thing is, it's still an American WASP establishment. That's the thing that all these anti-Jew propagandists can't admit is when you really get into history, it's WASPs. America is a country of WASPs.
Yes, Lord Walter Rothschild learned from a WASP, a white Anglo fucking. He followed Martin Luther. It was a Lutheran guy that created Lord Walter Rothschild, the first one, back in Frankfurt, Germany. He was this little ghetto kid, grew up in the ghetto, very poor, fucking impoverished. But this guy would let him study banking and shit back in Frankfurt, and then he took that system and was like, I have something much better than this, like where we can have shit without actually paying for it, which is like the debt system that founded capitalism, or that capitalism was founded upon. And that's why Americans have 4 fucking cars and cell phones and they're paying payments on everything. They don't actually own anything. It's because of that. But that came from the system itself. The first edition, anyway, was by some fucking guy who followed Martin Luther. It was a Christian German, you know, who just allowed this little Jewish kid from the ghetto to study under him, and then he created the greatest banking system the world has ever known. And they didn't like that because obviously they wanted Jews to be in ghettos. Frankfurt, especially at the time, I believe this was the 1500s. So they said, you know, oh, you guys must have some sort of demonic power. Like, what the fuck? Stay down. Like that. That's really the point of anti-Semitism is like, stay down. Like, how the fuck do you keep getting back up? Know your place.
So Jews just took it and perfected it. Can't really be mad at it.
Literally. Lord Walter Rothschild was a fucking genius. We're talking, you know, a lot today. Like, if you don't have coffee and a full 8 hours of sleep, you can't even compete at your 8-hour job, like your desk job. You can't even compete. This guy didn't have the nutrition to grow up on. Like, he was malnourished as fuck. He grew up in a ghetto in Frankfurt, super anti-Semitic place, and still had the brain power, you know, to create the best global banking system the world has ever seen. And they hated that. So they said Jews control the banks.
How do you feel about Holocaust deniers?
Holocaust deniers. Well, I've been called a Holocaust denier for saying certain things,
Really?
but yeah, by super secular Jews, but they fucking hate on religious people all the time. So just because I said they weren't all Jews, all 6 million, halakhically I said, obviously there were the intermarriage at that time was at 65%, which is what it is today in the West. So that means 65% of Jews were intermarried. That means 65% of the kids weren't even Jewish. So I gave some like conservative number. I said like maybe 3 million were halakhically Jewish. The rest had one Jewish parent. As we know, Hitler killed anybody who even had one grandparent that was Jewish on either side. He didn't care. So just by going off Hitler's own guidebook, we know that not all 6 million were halakhically Jewish. But as far as like obviously that's more of a religious thing, like who's Jewish by halakha versus, you know, but I'm not denying that 6 million people that had Jewish ancestry were killed or anything. But how do I feel about it? I don't know. I think that we should question things. I think we should question authority and have conversations about things, because just because we're Jews doesn't mean that we can't be lied to. Who's to say that, like I'll give you an example. Who's to say that the Holocaust couldn't have been created or at least exaggerated by some government that wasn't Jewish for a specific, dark agenda of some sort, you know, and we can look back to the word itself. Holocaust is a Greek word for burnt sacrifice, burnt offering, and it's mostly used in the pretense of sacrificing to Baal or to Lucifer, things like that. That's where you get the word Holocaust. So it's weird that where they put Jews in ovens and burned babies, why the fuck would you call that Holocaust, burnt offering? It's very strange. Jews didn't name it that. That was the Germans. And somebody else in here earlier said that they were occultists, which was true. Goebbels wasn't a Christian. That dude didn't get on his knees and pray to Jesus. The fucking swastika is Thor's hammer. That's what that symbol is. That's Thor's hammer spinning. That's where that symbol originally comes from. So there's a lot of things that are shady around the Holocaust. Not on that 6 million Jews were killed. Obviously, 11 million total were killed. There were also fucking handicapped people, which is also disgusting. Anybody that had any sort of defects or in a wheelchair or even crutches got put in camps. But yeah, if you dig deep into like who the fuck came up with the Holocaust terminology, the occult stuff going on at the time, it can get pretty crazy. And anyway, I'm not even gonna go that far down it, but it's pretty weird. There is a lot of weird shit around it. Not on the Jewish side, on the people around it.
You ever heard or seen of the documentary Europa Last Battle?
Yeah, it's a science. It's like a Star Trek-ish type of thing from like '95 or something.
No, it's about the Holocaust, and it shows it from the other side, and basically it denies the Holocaust. So it's sort of like the red pill.
Yeah. So the only issue with that is that maybe there's some truth in there, but when there's this phenomenon like what Republican was saying earlier, about speech and about things being audible, there's this thing that happens when you allow someone to continuously speak uninterrupted, like not in a debate setting, that they're able to convince, I think it's like 69 or 70% of the population, if someone's able to continue on and sprinkle in a little bit of truth. And then even if you don't understand 70% of what they say, if you can resonate with any part of it, the whole thing will appear true if it's uninterrupted. So the only thing that I would say with that is there's probably some truth in there, because some of the shit is definitely skewed with the Holocaust, but you would need a debate, like a formal debate, and it'd have to be respectable, like respectful people, but you can't because you're obviously demonized and ostracized if you question anything. I've been called an anti-Semite by secular Jews so much in the last 6 months, just for saying things that are in the Bible. But you get ostracized immediately as soon as you start questioning authority from any group of people. And if we had like a legitimate expert or someone who claims to be an expert on the no Holocaust side, and then we had experts on the Holocaust side, I think we would get a better understanding of how information was maybe incorrectly represented, or how things were exaggerated, or because in times of war, obviously, there's a lot of shit that can go wrong or that's skewed. But yeah, I've never truly looked into a lot of that. I know that IBM and a lot of the early computer founders had a lot of ways to create the data and save the data and store and keep track of who was where at what camp and how they died and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't read or watched the documentary you're talking about.
So, would you like to hear like what the other side says?
Not really. Not unless I was in a setting that it was like a sterile environment where I'm readily able to research things, and I'm in that setting where I have, like I said, two people debating, because I don't feel like looking up all the context, and I don't want. I went down enough rabbit holes. I don't need things permeating my consciousness on certain things. Well, here's the deal. Even without the Holocaust, let's say the Holocaust never happened. Let's say that never happened. We still have like 100 other massive events. I mean, the Spanish Inquisition alone was bigger than the Holocaust. I mean, fucking burning the equivalent of, I think, like 10 million Jews by today's numbers at stakes, and murdering them, pillaging, slaughtering people. So it's happened for the last 2,000 years. Even
The Inquisition, what a sin, the Inquisition. Let's begin.
Yeah, anyway, even if the Holocaust never happened, those events have been happening for thousands of years against Jews.
Do you think that Jews are innocent victims? and they've never
No.
done any wrong.
No, never done anything wrong. No. So I think that Jews are victorious victors. I think we're some of the smartest people on the planet. I think we've invented 3 out of 5 items that most people use today, which is factual. I think that we gave the weekend. I think we gave some pretty awesome shit to the world. I think that we're the only people who have ever come back from as much adversity. I don't think we're victims. I think we're victors. And I think that if a lot of people looked at us as a case study, they would be able to learn a lot of valuable things that would help them elevate their lives as well. Not even in just a religious setting, even in a secular setting, but excluding Marxism and communism. I don't agree with that shit, but anyway, it sounds like you
Whoopsie! Must have been a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, you're a pretty cool Jew, man.
Avishai,
And I told a Republican.
wait, let me ask this. How do you view the Bolshevik Jews who murdered the Tsarist family? Who were they? Why did they do it? Were they Torah scholars or were they just white trash?
Yeah, I disavow murdering any people that are. That was a hard one because obviously, no, I'm more for a justice system. The commandment was to set up courts and try people against justice and not to slaughter people in their beds. And they killed kids, which obviously is wrong. You can't. If you have something wrong with one of the Tsars or his wife, even that's one thing. But they don't kill their children and hack them to pieces, and also hack their fucking doctor, the family physician. What was that guy's name? Big ass dude that was in a.
But
sex
my
cult,
point is I don't know anything about the real history. I guess I could Google it and spend some time, but like if these Jews really did it, if it was even Jews, how do we know that it wasn't like a libel and slander? Like what's the real story, you know?
Correct, yeah, because Hansel and Gretel is a libel. A lot of people don't know that against Jews.
How so?
So the kids are Aryan, perfect white males. Well, male and female. The woman in the woods is a Jewish woman. At that specific time, the Jews were forced to live in that side of the dark forest. And where the village where they traced this shit back, and that village where the story originated from, there had been several kids gone missing, and they killed the Jews that lived in the woods nearby, and came up with all kinds of crazy witch stories that that the Jews were witches and they were eating the children and drinking their blood and baking the kids into food and all kinds of crazy shit.
So I mean, you get the point, him, that like for countless generations now, trolls and gaslighters who are too stupid to figure things out in their own life, they've constantly and chronically been going, Joe, 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 and they've been attacking them as such.
I think people are just jealous that the Jews like perfected the banking system and got like really wealthy, and they agreed to like shitty like credit loans that fucking enslave them permanently.
Literally,
so yeah, I think we agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, that was secular Jews. You got to keep in mind they definitely were not. They did not follow the Torah by any means, and the secular Jews are, by religious standards, are our biggest threat. So if you listen to religious rabbis, a lot of them get their videos clipped by white supremacists, Arab terrorists, and they're like, look at these rabbis telling the truth. Because they say things like, our biggest enemies are not the Arabs, our biggest enemies are not neo-Nazis, our biggest enemies are leftist Jews like Mark Zuckerberg and George Soros, which is the truth. Those people are the enemies of all of humanity. But we would like for people to not say all Jews. If somebody does something, Jews are the only people that you blame the entire thing on, or you blame all people for the actions of like one or two people. It's different. It's not the same as if you had, like, let's say, black people in America, where there's some factual stuff behind it. You know, like statistically, like 50% of the population, it's not even really 50% of the whole population, it's 50% of men, which is even smaller. It's like 3% of the American population commit all, like 50% of the murders and rapes and all that shit. But, I mean, obviously they leave out that it's against their own people, so it kind of really, there's not really a big point there against other people. But, so it's not even like, and of course that feeds a lot of stereotypes and a lot of racism, wrongfully so, but at least there you have some sort of substance. You can understand like where they're getting the racism from. Not that I'm saying that that's a good thing at all. Like you can understand it from a case study perspective. With the Jews, it's not the case. If you're looking at Nobel Peace Prize, like, and you're like, these fucking guys have won all these prizes, we have to kill them. Okay, well, maybe I don't really see your point for improving the world, like how, but if you're looking at all the people who own the banks, it's WASPs. If you're looking at, the Jews don't own the banks in China or Japan or Korea, you know, or India. That's half the world right there. So at least half the world doesn't have a single Jewish banking, even a manager in their fucking whole bank. So, I mean, that's half the world right there. But, yeah, I mean, the Jews are the only group of people where one Jew will do something and everybody's like, look, see, I fucking told you, it's all Jews. They kind of do it with American blacks where one person will fuck up and they'll say, look at all black people over here, typical black activities, whatever you see their shit on Instagram, right? But with Jews, globally, that's the only people that happens to.
Yeah, I guess then I think you're right. I think it is like secular Jews and WASPs together that do fucked up shit. And they are the enemies of humanity. And that's probably the fairest way to see it.
100%, man. And, you know, obviously, like, so in Judaism, we're not allowed to, like, give, like, there's conversations with big rabbis, especially back at the Greek Sanhedrin. If they come here and they say, give us one Jew or we're going to kill all of you, you're not allowed to give them a Jew. But if they name one by person and say, this guy fucking slandered our family, took food out of our kitchen house, we just want him, we're going to kill him. But, and they name him by name and they say, this guy fucked us over. We want him, we don't want anybody else, like, we're going to leave you guys alone. But if you don't, we're going to tear down your fucking walls and come in and burn everything. You have to, by Jewish law, you have to give them that one Jew. So if somebody came looking for George Soros, we have to be like, here it is. Or Mark Zuckerberg, we have to be like, hey man, like, take him. Leave us alone. We don't want any part of this shit. We weren't a part of it. We're
What's
over
wrong
here.
with Mark Zuckerberg? I thought he was just like maybe a tranny and just kind of into like Asian women and stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. Well, I mean, he has inserted himself into global power as far as democracy and caused, I think, somewhere upwards of 350,000 people to get massacred all over Africa and in lesser developing economies because he'll literally control their elections and put warlords in power that just murder and slaughter everybody. That's part of what that social media documentary was about. What the hell was that documentary called about? What was that called? There was a documentary that came out like a couple of years ago, and it was like groundbreaking shit about how AI and Mark Zuckerberg are powering all.
I think that movie was called Precious.
No, it was Norbit. That was it. No, it was Nutty Professor. No, I can't remember what it was called. Something about.
Yeah, weakest men are the enemies of weak men are the enemies of humanity too, man. And
yeah, well, they're the enemy.
I don't think Mark Zuckerberg's pushing weights anytime soon, you know, or getting into fights and boxing and stuff.
Well, his wife is busy taking photos of him and then using a Facebook filter and making him look like an Adonis, and then he pulls out his Gillette razor blade, shaves, and the whole thing. See, this is the interesting thing about Instagram and what Meta is that Meta or Instagram is really the de facto communication of the United States government and its leaders, in the sense that in terms of creation, you know, and like Hebrew words, Hebrew letters creating reality, the universe and the world and man and all these things, people understand that Instagram has a magic, but it's also like a personal self project management or communication. It's really just a communication tool, but in terms of like manifestation or propaganda or misinformation, all of the establishment understands that without it, they're powerless, which is kind of the irony, because you have Hillary Clinton, if you look at her IG or these other, like, you know, faded political stars, they're still getting into Instagram and YouTube and doing all these things. And Joe Biden is just nonstop. And same with Kamala Harris and all of them. And AOC is the worst. The whole thing is, when they prepare their speeches and then they get their snippet, like, they immediately publish it to their IG. So it becomes like an obsessive compulsive disorder of communication hypnosis, where they know what they're doing, and what they're really doing is creating a catalog, just in the same way that like some Motown artist would create a catalog. So I'm just saying that it's very it's very strange, but I think it deals with like basic communication theory or occult or mystic theory, meaning that like whether they're
Yeah.
aware of it or not, they're basically doing magic, using technology to do magic in a way.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's a very powerful way to put it, and I think you're 100% correct. They're rewriting history because that's what's going to be fucking around, and not the emotions that people had or the connection to real-time events. Everyone has that 3-second attention span like a goldfish. So when they go back and try to remember or look it up, they're like, there was something crazy that happened during this time. They'll go back and look at Hillary Clinton's Instagram and be like, no, Hillary Clinton was a good person. Yeah, I guess everything is fine. I mean, that was just a weird memory. In the future, in 50 years, when they go back and analyze everything.
Well, I don't think in the future they'll actually go back and analyze anything, to tell you the truth. I think the future will be so highly programmed or so highly.
Down. You guys want to hear a crazy dream I had? I'll be brief with it. I had a crazy dream like a year ago, and it's seared into my brain. It was so powerful. It felt so fucking real, like beyond belief real. More so than any dream I think that I've ever had in my life.
Vision.
I don't know what it was, but I was in the future, and I was in this tower, and I was talking to people, and there was a sense of urgency that I didn't make my presence known to a large amount of people because I would have been killed or something. But I woke up in this building, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And I start looking around, and there's no books anywhere. Everything it's dark, and there's like this weird red sky outside. Anyway, I'm talking to these people in this building, and I'm trying to use English, and they're getting upset or a little bit frustrated, and they're kind of like, who you? And they get mad and start looking at their tablets. It's like a weird futuristic tablet, and then they get back to like streaming things straight into their consciousness. And I'm like looking around like, what the fuck is this place? I think it was obviously probably just a combination of different data points and fear combined with fear of the future, and that probably created a dream. But it gave me an idea, like this Orwellian society in the future where there's going to be no books, where books are probably going to be illegal, and the only data that you have available to you comes from the one corporation, not even governments, corporations. And if you go against them, they have like private police forces that'll just come and burn your ass alive. And,
Well, look at this app. Look at this app. I was thinking about this today. And the reason why they got rid of the chat function in here is because the future really is talk to text. Like people in the future probably won't text word or won't write papers with a keyboard. They'll just do talk to text to write their essay. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
yeah, it's true.
yeah, so I mean, maybe it's not true, but like because maybe you can write faster than you can speak, probably. But anyways, I'm just saying that like the reason why there's no text is because listening and speaking is a higher form of hypnosis, meaning that the future of communication is not really books and it's not writing, it's listening and then people only having certain mediums or platforms to listen through because all the lies of the government will be completely washed away. 9/11 truth, vaccine truth, everything, all these cover-ups will go away over the course of the generations. So the murders, yeah, there will never be justice, and it's because all communication is hypnosis. There can be no justice if the communication doesn't, I guess, do social hangings or online courts, meaning that like you see what I'm saying? The censorship with Zuckerberg,
Right.
yeah, and Google and YouTube. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like politics is really mind control because it's censorship control.
Yeah, that's a very powerful point. 'Cause, I mean, if you think about it, the most powerful belief systems that we have today are not stemming from written documents like the Bible. The biggest Bible thumpers or the most religious fanatical people have the least statistically amount of knowledge of the Bible. Like that guy that came here a second ago, that shit comes from telling your kids that at the dinner table, or even further back, sitting around the campfire and telling stories. those are the stories that get ingrained in our DNA and are passed down from generation to generation, not just reading shit in a book, because most people, aside from the Jews, were completely illiterate for most of history, most of human history. So, yeah, I mean, it has to be the case. We're in some place that used to be like some native fucking swamp, and where we've mentioned Alexander the Great, somebody that was on the other side of the planet, and all these people thousands of years ago. So, literally, those things I didn't learn about any of that shit from a book. I learned about everything. The basis, the seeds of my mind were all planted with words, not with me reading anything. And those are the most powerful parts of our brain, the most powerful and compelling parts of our identities, and why we fucking believe anything, why we believe certain things are right, certain things are wrong. It's all from storytelling, from sitting around a campfire thousands of years ago and telling shit, and that stuff getting passed down and down and down and down. So, yeah, I mean, if that's our past, I think that's definitely going to be our future.
Want me to tell you the truth, or at least what I believe? So, Hitler, he threw, like a Rothschild in jail, and he got rid of Freemasonry. He hated Freemasonry. And he went on an economic system that was based on labor instead of like this fiat currency stuff. I honestly believe that he was fighting against these evil secular Jews and Wasp, and he was taking on the Matrix, and he got crushed, and he's continually crushed, and this is why he's the most slandered man of all time.
Yeah, I believe that he's certainly represented in such a way. Dude, listen, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. As a Jew, I've listened to his speeches and been like, fuck, man. Like, you heard the AI one. Listen, dude, I love public speaking. I'm not the best public speaker. I'm saying I love public speakers and people who can move a crowd. I don't know that there's been a public speaker with that much power behind their words than maybe Napoleon or maybe a Caesar in Rome, or Marcus Aurelius. Very few men have that level of power and hypnosis. When they open their fucking mouth, the world shakes. One man maybe every 1,000 years has that power, and he was one of the people that had that power. So certainly he could make it seem like that, and definitely put up a good case. But when you dig deeper and you find out exactly what was going on and what his actual beliefs were, it's not the case. He 100% believed that Aryan white people came down from some fucking alien group of people. It was like very Scientology. He was doing an insane amount of psychedelics and liquid cocaine injections, and the guy was fucking all over the place with substances. And of course, he had advisors like Goebbels and Himmler and a lot of the other people. But these guys wanted power, and they needed a scapegoat. I don't think that the banking system that was created by the Rothschilds was to blame. I don't think that any Rothschilds were a part of the Freemasons. At least I've never seen any concrete evidence of that. And I do think that there are some secular Jews who were, like the Zionists in the beginning. The original Zionists were all fucking Luciferian Freemasons for sure. The Freemasons created not only the United States, the Philippines, every fucking country since 1776 has been created basically by Freemasons, including Israel. But I don't think that that's what his true. I know that's what he represented it as. But if you read his journals, you can and even in Mein Kampf, if you've read Mein Kampf, he references the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. He admits that it's bullshit, but he admits that there's power behind the anti-Semitism in the book. He admits, like, this book is bullshit, and I know it's bullshit, but the fucking way that this moves people is unparalleled. So what he does is he uses that, he taps into that ancient thing, that ancient power called anti-Semitism, and he uses that shit to gain political power. Of course, he doesn't just blame Jews. That is the number one priority of his. But, of course, he blames other people like gays and fucking other more liberal people, which is true. You definitely have to stamp out some of the insane progressive shit. Most of conservatism is the best way. but I don't think that his intentions were noble by any means, or that he was this guy like Andrew Tate who was fighting the Matrix and all this stuff. I think that he was an evil guy with a very powerful mouth, and I would fucking kill 1,000 men to have a voice like that. 100%, man. Are you kidding me? If any man has that power, like, dude, like, how is he that fucking powerful? He opened his mouth, and a world war, more people died when he opened his mouth than any other point in human history. And that's fucking power. He experienced power like no other human, I think, has ever felt since maybe biblical times, honestly. And then when you get into like his crazy life, something was above him helping him. When a grenade lands in front of you and it kills everyone behind you but not you in the trenches, there's something going on with that, and that was documented by several people. So I think that maybe he had some help, by some dark shit, but who knows, man. It's definitely an interesting and captivating, very captivating. Bro, do you see those videos on YouTube that's like World War II in color, and you see Nazis marching? No clickbaity titles, no crazy captions, and it have like 15 million fucking views. It's crazy. It's the most captivating. I think he's probably the most captivating man in the last 1,000 years.
Yeah, so there's 2 rabbis on YouTube right now that say that he hated Jews because they were communists. He didn't just hate,
but
normal
I agree.
Jews.
That's one of the reasons he hated Jews, but obviously he didn't call other communist rats and say that they were inferior genetically to the Aryans. So he put Jews and Russians in some sort of crazy category where he said that they had to be completely exterminated. And then he said, which is why the Ukrainians sided with Hitler, but he said black people were allowed to be kept alive because they would be the slaves. Like if you look at the graph.
Where are you getting this information from? There's just so much propaganda around
That's not
this
propaganda.
guy.
That's not propaganda, though. That's published.
Okay.
That was published by him. Bro, read Mein Kampf.
Well, I'm listening to it right now, and I'm in like the
You'll
second
see.
thing.
He hates Jews. In the beginning, he hates Jews because he says they're bringing Negroes to Germany, to the Rhineland. So in the beginning, you'll start hearing him say that.
Yeah, I mean, Jews brought slaves to America, so I don't think that's too far fetched, really.
No, so to see that right there is such a magnified exaggeration, because Jews did not bring slaves to America.
They were
one Jewish family, huh?
Crypto Jews.
Well, that's like a conspiracy theory. We're talking about actual data here, not Jews that change their names and like all that stuff. We're talking about hard facts, not like we believe because this, and this, without any hard evidence, and they're pointing to other conspiracies to back up their conspiracy. I'm talking about, we know for sure that a Jewish family owned a slave ship that brought like 30 fucking loads of slaves to South Carolina and Virginia. But as far as like more than 10 Jews taking part of American slavery, it's a theory. It's like a fugazi. It never happened.
So the biggest slavery capital in America was, I think, Newport. And that's where the first synagogue was as well.
So Newport was where?
In Virginia.
Okay, so the first synagogue being in a place doesn't, and I'm sure there were a first of many things that weren't even Jewish at the same time there. But if you think about what you just said, think about it. The first synagogue was at this place. Let's put it into perspective. The French had been bringing slaves into France far before we did. The English had been bringing slaves into England far before they came to the colonies. So there were, you see, like, there's a big distinction between just because the first synagogue was in a place that happened to have, like, the first slavery. By the way, I don't even think that's true. The first slave was in Jamestown, I believe, not Newport, and it was a black dude that was a slave owner.
Well, no, Newport was the biggest, like, capital.
The biggest capital.
Yeah.
So why was it the biggest capital and the biggest population?
What's that?
So you're saying Newport was the capital. That means that there was more work there. That means that was a bigger population.
Well, it was the biggest slave trading center. What I mean, it was like the capital of slave trade. That's what I mean.
Right, but they wouldn't have just chose a spot with no humans to say we're going to go there. Newport would have had to have been a metropolis, a thriving city with jobs and an economy and infrastructure to support a slave trade. So that being said, that was probably chosen because it was a metropolis, a city that had the infrastructure for slavery. And if that's the case, if there's any Jews there, of course there's going to be a synagogue put there because that's where all the population is, which means that the first churches, that means that there were churches there. That means that there were other forms of, all of the 15 different branches of Christianity there, Lutherans, Baptists, Methodists. I'm sure all of those places were there as well, which is most of the slave traders.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure. Have you heard the theory that Christopher Columbus was a crypto Jew?
Yeah, it makes sense because the day that his ship set sailed was like the same day that the document was signed expelling the Jews in 1492. We know for sure that at least 25% of his crew were Jews. I don't know that he himself was, because he came back several times to Spain and to Italy. So I don't know for sure that he was, but he certainly didn't have an issue with any Jews because, they were on his ships.
Yeah. Anyways, I gotta get going, but good speaking with you guys. And peace be with you and everything.
What do you believe? Because a lot of people, if you really trace it back to the core of what you believe, that basically what it comes down to is that for the anti-Semites out there, basically all this shit goes back to Satan is in control of the Jews, which is some sort of supernatural thing. So you would have to believe, based on either we are actually superior to everyone and we have this crazy high IQ and ethic to strategize and create tactics that we're just far better than anybody else and nobody can stop us and we're just dominating everyone because we're superior by nature, by Charles Darwinism, or it's something supernatural. So which one do you think, if you're standing on your beliefs, which one do you think is more likely? Supernatural or Darwinism? We somehow evolved to be more trickier and slippier than other people.
I think, here's what I think, and this is straight from Mein Kampf. Every historical event in the world is nothing but a manifestation of the instinct of racial self-preservation, whether for better or worse.
Yeah, that's Darwinism. That was Charles Darwin's grandfather or dad is the one who invented Darwinism, is the one who came up with that, and then Hitler quoted him. I don't know if that's said in there that that's a quote, but later it was found out that was a quote, and that's what Charles Darwin said as well. It was confirmed in the Origin of Species.
Basically, I think that, Jews, were put into the diaspora, and then they had all this outer pressure and outer, threat at all times. So it was forced upon them to become dominant and powerful just by outside pressure alone. Like, you couldn't be comfortable, basically. You were always outnumbered.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. It's a good point, and that's definitely something that can happen. It's just like going to the gym. You're breaking down the muscles. It's facing this fucking existential crisis, and it has to adapt. It has to overcome. It has to find a way to survive, and the only way to do that is by strengthening and growing and becoming more powerful.
Absolutely.
So you're looking at it as more of like a response to stimuli, like natural. Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense. Some people say the Satan thing, and then it's just like, well, okay, well that means you have to believe in God and supernatural, and you have to you kind of have to believe that somehow Jews are suspended or propped up in the same manner that Hitler would have been. What do you think about the grenade landing in front of him and killing people behind him? And that's what actually made him think he was chosen.
I've heard that too. Yeah, again, man. I think that he took on the Matrix, and I think he was actually protected by God. And I know that sounds crazy, but
so let me ask you this though: do you believe that handicapped people should be killed?
No, I think that's propaganda and stuff.
No, that's not propaganda. That's
But
fact.
here, I want to tell you. Hold on, no.
Hitler 100%
I want to tell you this.
the people who were handicapped and
I
had
understand.
genetic defects.
Yeah, I want to tell you this
You'll read it
first,
in my
though.
comments.
What's that?
You'll read about it. You'll if you really read Mein Kampf and you listen to what he's saying there, and you try to think of like, why is this man thinking this and saying these things about Negroes and the Negro race and Jews, basically bringing slaves. You know, even in Mein Kampf, he says that the Jews should be wiped out. He got that from Martin Luther, by the way. Hitler didn't come up with any of this. Martin Luther came up with this in the 1500s.
I haven't finished it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he says that all black people should be kept alive to be slaves. So he says that. So he's a slave trader. I mean, he agrees. For whatever reason, he's agreeing that black people are slaves. Jews should be killed. That Russians should be ethnically cleansed as well. And the Mediterraneans are the lesser of the Caucasians. The Arabs are the lesser of the Caucasians. They can stay and have the hard laborious work that the slaves, that the Negroes don't have, and that the superior whites are going to be the Germans, the Anglo and the Saxon, and the people that came from Germany and basically West Europe. But you'll read in there, he's definitely not a good guy. He definitely didn't have God on his side. He definitely did not have a good moral compass, and he was addicted to many substances and drugs and hallucinogenics and very, very crazy things.
Which translation did you read?
I can't really tell you. I've listened to it on Audible. I've listened to it on Spotify. I've read it 3 or 4 times over the last 10 years. But yeah, so you've been fed this side that actually is propaganda, which is that Hitler was a good guy. He was going up against the Matrix. Bro,
well, I've heard both sides, right? I grew up, he was evil. The Holocaust, there was a genocide plan against Jews, all that stuff, and then I see and hear the other side, and I've listened to debates and researched it extensively, and this is what I come up with. And here's the thing, if I could become Jewish, I would become Jewish, but I can't because I'm in a mixed, relationship. But anyways.
Well, the thing is that you got to find out why you want to know, and that's coming from the motivation of you're coming. And this is my thing too.
Well, I am ethnically German. Yeah, and so I was like, okay,
you want your life to have meaning.
Sure.
That's what
now we could call Hitler evil, fine, but can we say that all German people are evil? Everyone with German blood? No. And so the whole country followed this man into the depths of hell and loved him. If you look at pictures and videos, and since he says he's motivated solely by the love for his people, I think this is easy to understand. And I don't think all German people are evil, so I studied it unbiasedly and just with an open mind, and this is what I come up with.
Yeah, you'd have to explain how modern day Germans hate him, and that you'll go to jail for even saying anything about him, because that was their grandparents did.
Yeah, victors write history. Right, so you have to go with the narrative. Or else you'll be labeled a Nazi, and that's no good.
Right, but the thing is that you did have, I think like 10 to 20% of the camps were German soldiers. So part of that 11 million that he killed in the camps were German soldiers that rebelled against him, and we know that German and even Nazi soldiers that wore the uniform hid Jews in their house and did not go along with half of the stuff that he did. I mean, especially people that were a part of the party that have massive factories. You have Schindler's List. You have things like that. So not everybody loved him, just like not everybody likes Donald Trump. History's going to show that the vast majority of people loved Donald Trump, and that the small, loud, screeching minority controlled the microphone for so long. But that was not the silent majority, or that wasn't the loud majority. They were a tiny, shrill voice, and they were drowning out the silent majority. That's the reality. I'd say 80% of America fucking loves Trump. I like Trump. But I
think Trump is a shill for the Matrix.
What do you think about Elon Musk then? Because Elon Musk is definitely a shill.
Probably a shill too, yeah.
Definitely a shill, man. Dude's an actor. He's a fucking IMDb page. it's possible. Yeah, Trump could absolutely be a shill. Give them bread and circus, just like the Romans said. You know, I've pondered that many times. He
Both
fucking hooked up
sides,
to that
I mean, all politicians are bought out by the Federal Reserve. They just print money, and then when we do it, we go to jail. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, so a lot of what you're getting into is like fairness and justice and finding it's the trap the Germans fell into with blaming other people for their problems instead of taking things into their own hands the correct way and a just way. They decided we're just going to murder our way out of this economic crisis.
you think I'm blaming other people for my problems?
You're starting to. I'm not saying you're there yet, but that's the path it leads down. I'm saying if you map out where this goes, I think you have to go back to where is all of this coming from, because you're selecting things from you went into a restaurant and you're looking at things on a menu and you're looking for exactly what you want, and you're selecting I want this and I want this on it. That's all coming from a place of maybe not a good relationship with your dad, I would say. You're looking for meaning and you're looking for a sense of belonging. Maybe people have been complete shit to you and told you you're a fuck up.
Those last 2 points are pretty good. Yeah, I would like to belong, and people have been pretty shitty to me. And I can't become a Jew, so I'm kind of in this weird spot, you know.
Why can't you?
Because my fiance doesn't want to become one because her dad is a Palestinian Muslim.
What do you think Hitler would have done if he was with a girl and said, I don't want you to fucking become the chancellor or the viceroy of Germany. I don't want you to become the prime minister of Deutschland and you have this great destiny. I don't want you to have that. He would have smacked someone. He would have hip smacked her. Yeah. Wayne Brady would have had to smack a bitch. But, the thing is this, man. You're talking about the Matrix. You're using words from like Andrew Tate and stuff. You already know how these guys would have handled a situation like that. You got to... I can tell you a few ways you could win in that situation. Obviously,
Noah is what people...
No, I'm talking about actually becoming Jewish. First of all, you could do it and say, hey, listen, if you find the what you want to do, you could say, I'm doing this. I want you to come along with me. This is the reality. This is what I want. But if you take a firm stance and you say, this is based on what I'm researching over here. This is not hearsay. This is not what he said, she said. It's been passed down. This isn't your uncle that's fucking got a GED. This is me, and I'm researching this. And you can show her the findings, or you can just straight up say, hey, this is what it's going to be, and I want you to come along. I love you. I care about you. But this is the truth based on the researching that I found, and I'm always going to be incomplete. I'm always going to have this sense of longing in me until I figure out, how I'm going to manipulate my environment in such a way that propels me.
You could also just stop thinking and end your problems.
Dude, I've been thinking about that so much. It's such a good quote. He says stop thinking and end your problems.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't. It's, you can't.
Here's the thing.
We're Prometheus down here, man. We have to.
Does that mean, stop thinking and end your, stop thinking, in a meditative way and, focus on your breath?
No.
Or is that, stop thinking and act?
It means you're thinking too much, and it could be either or. You're thinking about it right now. See what you're doing? You're thinking and analyzing what the hell does that even mean? So that in itself shows you it's not possible to stop thinking.
Right.
Good. Stop thinking is paradoxical as hell, man. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, wait, what does that even mean? Wait, you're thinking when you even go down that path.
Well, the thing about anxiety, though, is all the anxiety you may have now will not change whatever the future simulation is or whatever the future change is. Anxiety can't change whatever is going to happen. I mean, it can, but in a negative way. You see what I'm saying?
Just be happy.
You want to look at it as a you want to look at it as a tactician, man. You want to look at it like you're on the battlefield. You're in your tent with your men, with your generals, and you're looking at a map, and you see where the rivers are and where the crossings are, and you're looking at there. You've already been in war. You've lost, 1,000 men. You're not afraid of it at this point anymore. You're already in the battle, and you're just looking at the strategies. You're looking at, okay, so if I cross the river right here, there's a fucking field there. They're going to see me. They're going to attack me. You have to look at it raw and look at it, instead of overthinking and having anxiety and all that shit. You have to look at it as a tactician, as a strategist, and you have to just put this shit on paper. Your mind is soup. You have to pull shit out of your mind and put it on paper so you can analyze it and put structures in place properly. And you have to weigh things and say, you know what, these are the things I want to do. These are the things I don't want to do.
Avishai, how do you say to go or go in Hebrew?
To go in Hebrew?
Yeah. Or to do. Meaning, how do you take action? How do you say to take action in Hebrew?
I think like lalachet would be.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is like slow, fast, meaning that like he may really like this girl, and you know, I don't know. I've gone over this with him for 48 hours, and we've analyzed it from a gazillion ways. I like your analysis. But him, I gotta tell you, man, like, you know, find him, feed him, fuck him, and forget him. Sorry, bro, but you should end your engagement.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, I'll tell you this, and this is something that I'm sure Republican can agree with me on. There is no better community for supporting you and helping you with your dreams, or helping you even if you're a fuck up. There is no greater people on this earth than the Jewish people for helping you accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish in this life, man. Whether it's secular Jews or it's religious Jews, like there are people that will fucking, if you start up a business, they will say, listen, we're going to go set this guy up and make sure this guy wins because we want him to win. And you'll have people coming in just because you're Jewish and they don't want to help you, man. You'll have resources as far as like counseling. You'll have resources as far as like cool rabbis to talk to that are very wise. Shush. Parents are driving me nuts. You'll have all of these resources, and this is not a selling point. I'm just saying from a life quality thing, man. If you want to join where you're married to a girl that is a Palestinian Muslim and you want to get into that stuff, the Palestinians and marrying into that is not going to be as good of a future for you, and you're not going to be able to have as large of an impact on the world in that scenario than you would by studying and finding a decent Jewish girl or somebody, or even a Bat Noach that wants to kind of go down that path as well, man. You have two sides, man. You have two paths. Let's look at 20 years in the future. What is it going to look like? Are you going to have a fucking 1985 Honda Civic hatchback that's putting along and blaming the world? Or are you going to be a guy with people around him who love him? Because ultimately that's what we want, man. I've been where you are. I've listened to Hitler's speeches. I grew up in foster care, man. I didn't have parents around, and I've always had this identity crisis and fucking felt like, what is my purpose in life?
Are you a convert?
No, I'm not. Why?
Oh, okay. Anyway.
No, my mom's Jewish. Yeah, no, my mom's Jewish, but my family grew up super secular, man. My mom's family came from London after the Middle East, and they came during when the Ottomans were running shit over in Israel. And same thing on my dad's side. They came from that area during the Ottomans and came to England and then met, and then my parents came here. But what I'm saying is, though, all of those things where you're looking for a leader, you're looking for a masculine role model, somebody to follow to give you.
I just want a community, honestly, and a fucking.
You need community. It's not
really...
one, bro. You need community. That's what I'm telling you, man. You need people to fucking love you and want you to win, man. And it's very hard to find.
Bro,
that.
that's not true, man. You can come to Clown House and find community. Some communities can be very annoying, and they'll suck you even worse than Clown House losers will suck you dry. Trust me.
Yeah.
Not every community is great.
You know, that's my thing.
Some people, yes, but I'm telling you right now, if you're somebody that wants to win in life and you want to have a good people around you in a community and a sense of meaning and purpose, and for people to come and be like, hey, man, you're doing this, like, we want to help you, that I've never seen that outside of the Jewish community.
Mm. My thing is, like, I hear all you're saying, I 100% agree, and maybe this will bite me in the ass later, but I don't. Whatever, man. I'm just weak. I don't want to break her heart, and I don't want to be alone.
No, I've been there, dude. Trust me. I've dated non-Jewish girls and one that I was about to marry. So trust me, I've been there. And you question everything. But
what did you do? How did it go?
Do you guys live together? Let me ask you this. First of all, how old are you?
28. I'll be 29 pretty soon. Yeah.
I'm 28 as well. I turned 29 in December. But here's the thing: you guys don't live together, do you?
We do.
You do. How long have you lived together?
Since 2017.
Bro.
Yeah, it's deep. It's really deep.
No, it's not deep. You would have already married her if that was the real deal, man. 2017, bro.
Yeah, I don't have enough money. I need more.
No,
money
you don't need money, bro. You don't need money to go up to the courthouse, man. I think it's like $50 in most states. But the thing is this: I bet you guys have broken up 10 fucking times and got back together and broken up 10 times, man. Am I right?
Just once, but I've told her, I want to break up, but like a lot.
Yeah, and then you
cry and
yeah. And then let me ask you this: when you broke up, did you go sleep with anybody else?
yeah, definitely.
Woo!
But did that alleviate some of it?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. The thing is this.
What was it? Was it the comparative? Was it the comparative nature of the pussy where you were like, actually, my girl's pussy's pretty good. I like this bitch, and that other bitch was nasty. So you know what? I think I'm gonna keep. Like, is that really the mentality of the girl that you're gonna marry, the love of your life, your soulmate? I mean, that's Avishai's point. Is like your ass would have been married already if that bitch was your soulmate, man. You do comparative pussy shopping still.
Well, I want to do it in like an actual religious house. I want to do it.
But she's a Muslim Palestinian, you schmucko. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Sure.
The courthouse thing's gay to me.
Bro, if a 10 comes up to you and says, I have been waiting for a man like you, and she happens to fucking love Judaism and is like in the process of converting, but she comes up to you and she's like 10.
That shit's not happening.
I would. Fucking go find it, bro. Get off your ass.
But here's the variable, right? So I had body dysmorphia for 20 years because I was uncircumcised.
I can tell, bro.
And now I'm circumcised.
I was literally about to say this, bro.
What?
Where do you go? Planet Fitness?
Wait, Avishai, wait. There's a kicker. There's a no. This is your life, bro. This is your life.
Fitness, am I right?
This is your life, bro. Tell them the dirty truth.
Damn, Planet Fitness or what, bro?
No, dude, I'm fucking overweight because I drive fucking trucks all day.
I can tell, man. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I was literally about to ask you about your weight. I was literally about to say, hey, man, like, you've probably fucking gained and lost the same 10 pounds for the last 5 years, man.
No, that's not what he's talking about, Avishai. Go ahead, tell him.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter.
You're lonely. You're lonely.
Avishai, he had a plastic.
Send me a Jewish girl, okay?
Avishai, he removed his foreskin.
I can break it off.
He removed his foreskin.
I was the same, him. I was the same. I was exactly the same. I was fucking lonely, man. And I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I could go out and get girls like that. And I said, this is subconsciously, like, this is all I can get. And I would be fucking angry all the time in the relationship. I would be like a total asshole to her half the time. And, because I knew, man, I was angry against myself because I knew I could do better, but I didn't know how. I was confused. I was lost, and I was lonely,
You mean living with an obese pig who's retarded didn't fucking turn you on all the time? And you're like, why am I with this giant pig? I can't stand living with her. I hate her. This is annoying.
Damn, the worst case scenario is she's going to leave your ass, bro. What if somebody better than you comes along?
That's the thing. I kind of want her to, So I'm like,
bro,
micro-sabotaging, but then I fixed as micro-sabotaging,
Do you want to be 35 and go into your 40s with this same problem, bro? Like, do you want to just go in circles year after year?
Listen, I'm 41. I gotta tell you.
I'm just gonna do my best to be happy and hopefully.
Avishai, wait a second, Avishai, hold on. I'm 41.
It's bad, bro. It's bad. You're already at you're almost at child porn, man. Like you have to fucking. I'm telling you, bro.
Avishai, take it easy here. Take it easy. Take it easy. Hey, oh.
Hear me out. I'm sure that this guy has been like tempted to be like 14-year-old porn or something. Just hear me out for a second.
Right.
Hear me out for a second. When you get fucking lonely and you're confused and you get to a certain point,
Him, you sure you still want to be Jewish?
This is Freud, bro. Hold on a second. I'm gonna connect. Hold on, let me land.
He's okay.
I'm comparing this to Hitler. I'm not saying that you're doing
Whoa!
these things. I'm saying that that's the equivalent to listening to Hitler's speeches and getting fired up. What
It
I'm saying
kind
is
of
you're
yeah. Okay.
you're at the bottom, bro. And what I'm saying is, I'm
Yeah.
not actually saying you're looking at child porn. What I'm saying is, when you get to that point, and I'm saying I've been there, man. When you get that fucking lost, that you just want a sense of purpose and meaning, and you tired of killing yourself for fucking slave wages, and you get mad at the system, and you're like, God damn it, I'm tired of being over the road. There's no good food over the road. At every Love's truck stop, there's a fucking nasty, greasy fried chicken place, and Brewster's Chicken at all these places.
Are you sure you guys aren't like fucking soul twins or some shit? Like, what in the fuck is happening here? Do you two want to dump your fucking fiancés and just go live in gay in Tel Aviv or some shit? Why don't you two just get fucking married in Tel Aviv and fucking be a power bar and call it a day, dog? All right, I'll be back.
Yeah,
Send me a Jewish girl and I'll convert today.
Oh, I got you, man. I got you. The thing is, it's like, I'm telling you, man. Well, here's the thing, man. If you really wanted to, dude, there's a ton of yeshivas that like help. There's a ton of yeshivas that'll do this.
Religious converting would be so much easier this way. Look, man.
It is.
She's yours.
Bro, go to yeshiva. They'll give you a wife. I don't know your
Think so?
name, but dude, I'm in yeshiva, man. There's like 3 converts in this that are converting. And that's like the main selling point. They're like, listen, in like a couple of months, we're going to bring you to the Beit Din, which is the Jewish court, and we're going to get you your document. You're going to be you're going to be a kosher Jew. And at the end, then they start doing matchmaking and stuff. They just got somebody married off last week at the yeshiva. They just married somebody off. We just did a big wedding party. He was at the yeshiva, and people will call. Matchmakers will call and say, who do you got that matches this description or this, or this? And I'll say, I got just the guy. And they marry off everybody as they graduate yeshiva, man. In yeshiva.
Let's go to yeshiva?
Yeah, bro. I'm in yeshiva and I'm 28, man.
Oh,
There's
I
a
thought it was
40-year-old.
for like children growing up.
No, dude. Yeshiva is like religious. Yeah, religious yeshiva is to like study the Torah all day. And,
Oh wow, man, that's
it's a good
awesome.
environment. Bro, we sing, we drink whiskey.
Studying
we
the
drink
Torah
vodka.
with Christians is so goddamn annoying, even with Messianics.
Oh, I know, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, dude. But like the thing is this: if you especially if you went to like a Chabad yeshiva, it's like so open and welcome, bro. Like you're there, you're partying. Like you do this thing called farbringen, where it's a party. Like when you farbring, you party. A farbringen is a party, and it's like like obviously there's the Ashkenazi stuff is very like German influence. Like Yiddish is like a Germanic Hebrew language. But these guys fucking party, bro. You drink whiskey, vodka, wine, beer, whatever you want. And you're eating delicious fucking good food, and you're singing together, and people are supporting you. It's a very good environment, and then you learn all day. And then at night, with the meals and stuff, you sing and you party, and you have parties on the weekends. Yeah, bro, it's amazing. Yeah, really? But the thing is you have a sense of, and you just go study. You get 3 meals a day plus snacks. You get a place to sleep, and you at the end. They give you a document and say that you're a kosher Jew, and here's this woman. They'll set you on dates. They've already tried to have me go on 3 dates, bro. They've already tried to set me up like 3 different times, and I'm like, I'm busy or this or that because I'm kind of nervous. But I've been where you are, and it's legit.
Listen, I gotta tell you, man. You gotta
get around the right people, man. You need people that believe in you.
Yo, man. Listen, dog. I gotta give you some American pragmatic advice outside of the Orthodox community.
Yeah.
All right. If you really like your girl and she is a sweet girl and she's an innocent girl and like her daddy raised her right, just know that every fucking Muslim or every fucking whatever Arab or whatever, a lot of those fuckers have gone through bad shit too, and like they're not religious terrorists. They're just fucking immigrants who want the good life, and that's the fucking truth. And they still may hate Jews, but nonetheless, they still fucking just want the good life, and they're not all about fucking Muhammad and fucking Allah. My second point.
Yeah, because that shit's fucking me up too.
My second point is...
Yeah, I hate Islam, like, so fucking much.
My second point is, if this girl is a real hot chick, like, that is something to consider because, like, you will be breeding with a decent-looking chick, okay? Now, also, listen closely.
The American mansplaining.
Listen closely. From a polygamous perspective...
It's good, though. This guy dynamic is good. Yeah, it's good. I need
From
it.
from a polygamous perspective, this may not be your only wife, and I know many Jewish men that have had many wives and many fucking kids. So you could be stressing yourself out over fucking nothing, and coming on this app and doing all this shit and all your shit about Judaism and all this shit. Again, I got to tell you, like, if you read the Tanya, it will resolve a lot of these conflicts within you.
What is the Tanya?
He doesn't want them.
All these like
He doesn't want them.
different Jewish books I don't know about.
The thing is this: he doesn't want to put out the fire that's within him. He doesn't want to resolve this because he doesn't think he's worthy of having this shit resolved until he has.
I don't want to break her fucking heart, man. That's the thing. Like, I don't fucking feel like that's a good thing to do.
Well, the thing is this, bro, because this is, you want to hear this crazy shit, and Republican will definitely back me up on this, bro. By the way, I'm going to tell you how it resolved with me. I thought the same thing. I don't want to break her heart. Do you know what my friend told me that's a rabbi? He's like, bro, the world doesn't revolve around you. You think she's going to care as much as she's going to care? Listen, she's going to care way less than you think that she's going to be getting smashed by some other dude almost instantaneously.
You're replaceable, man. Everybody's replaceable. I got a job where I know I'm replaceable. Yeah. I know I'm replaceable at my job, but like you know, you want to throw that stone. You want to be David versus Goliath. This is the other thing is Maimonides in his one of his books I read, he says any bitch you've ever fucked is your soulmate and she is your wife. So any bitch, this bitch already is your wife and your dumbass doesn't even know it because you're already smashing it and you've smashed it 100 times, hopefully. And so the whole point is she's already your wife, you fucking Stugats. You ain't got to go to some Democrat court processor and some fucking county clerkship to get some piece of paper for $50 when you're already smashing this shit.
He doesn't really want her, though. He just doesn't want to be lonely.
Well,
I don't want to break your heart, but I think you made a good point. Because when we broke up the first time, you know, she was getting rammed by 3 dudes in a single month.
Bunny rabbits in the forest, bro. Bunny rabbits in the forest.
Are you over the road truck driver? Bro, are you over the road? Are you OTR?
No, I'm not OTR, man.
I was about to say, dude, your girl's getting railed every single time. How much money
she told me yesterday, she's like, you're on that fucking app all the time and you don't even fucking say hi to me? I'm just gonna go find another nigga. And she thinks that.
Bro, she's banging black dudes?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, from fucking Chicago, you know, it's like different. People say nigga and shit.
Oh, gotcha.
A Republican might not know that.
No, I was going out with this Mexican chick and she dropped her Ebonics on me one evening and I was like, God damn, this chick's a piece of trash.
Yeah, bro. Tell me, it's the best though, right? I mean, the fucking Humpin' Dump is the best on trash.
Yeah, so again though, dude, like, I used to be uncircumcised and I had body dysmorphia, and so I would fuck like random girls, you know, and I'd fucked like maybe like 15 girls. And I don't want to give it out, it's too hot. You guys know. Ruined my life.
If you want, I will set you up with personal diet training and exercise training, diet plan, everything to get you down to where you have abs, whatever you want, man. You won't have body dysmorphia.
Well, no, it was about my. It was about my. Republican loves this.
I've never heard a grown man talk about his circumcision and like really go into it, and it's just, to me, it's so bizarre that like somebody would decide to go to a plastic surgeon to have their foreskin removed. Like, I just can't believe it.
Well, here's the missing link. Here's the missing link. When I was a kid, being a white kid in the Midwest, where it's like 80% are circumcised, or like 90%. Anyway, I was with my friends, and we were in the pool as a kid, and just being stupid, I put my shorts down and started swinging my dick around, and my friend did, and then I saw his dick, and I thought his was beautiful, being circumcised, in the bathroom, and fucking teared up and got really frustrated, and thought mine was ugly and deformed. I carried that for 20 years cut off like a haircut. Healed and stopped believing Jesus, wanted to become a Jew. I can't. So now I fucking, have a Hitler thing. And now I'm on Clubhouse.
Yo, Avishai, please take Avishai. In my opinion, all communication is hypnosis. So when I hear this to me sounds like a stand-up routine, and the whole fucking bar is laughing at this guy's fucking stand-up routine because they can't believe what they're listening to.
But no, I
so much Joe Rogan shit.
Yeah, I just want to be happy, and I don't want to break her heart, and that's kind of where I'm at.
You're not gonna break a girl's heart that's been ran through by 3 dudes in the off season of you guys' relationship.
God damn, on the bench. Jeez.
Yeah, and if she tells you she's gonna fuck some other nigger tonight, you may want to reevaluate your strategies for long-term success. I'm just telling you.
You might be in the wrong place at the wrong time if you hear that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say study Torah, and hit the gym, save your money, and the right girl's gonna come your way. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good news. Yeah, this is good ideas.
How much money would you have if you didn't spend anything on your last year?
I'm like banned on the dating apps, because when I was on, fucking insecure and uncircumcised, I wanted to hide it, so now I'm fucking banned on the dating app.
You're so full of shit, bro.
Struggle mode. But yeah, if I definitely see some chick that's white, because white people, they might be partial to Judaism. I might, holler at her and stuff, and then maybe when I'm not alone, it'll be easier. But I still don't want to break her heart. But whatever, if I got some fucking beautiful fucking Aryan chick with large melons.
Do you have J-Swipe?
No, what's that?
Bro, what? You don't have J-Swipe? It's Jewish dating app.
Honestly, you don't need that. That shit sucks. Get Hinge, and then
I don't know I am.
Hinge is super Jewish. Yeah, get Hinge, bro.
Yeah,
Look,
get Hinge.
Get J-Swipe and put willing to convert on there. It has
That's
that
a
option.
great idea. I think I'm gonna do it.
I'll be perfectly honest with you.
I'm a piece of shit.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think you even need to say willing to convert. I honestly, I think you could just say you're Jewish, in my opinion. Like, this is America. If you can't just assert your...
Yeah.
Just go to any Black Hebrew Israelite room and listen to their bullshit, and then take your fucking Jewish girl that you meet on Hinge and say, bitch, listen, you want to talk about how complicated and stupid Judaism is? Let's listen to these schwartz, and then, you know what, let's end this fucking debate, stop thinking, and end our problems.
Yeah, tell her that you're the real Jew, and you're good to go, bro.
Right. Yeah.
No,
British,
that's an option on there.
Israelites. Yeah.
So it has willing to convert, reform, conservative, or orthodox is like the options on J-Swipe. But you could put willing to convert, or here's the thing, you could just put reform and say your dad's a Jew, but halakhically you're not Jewish. So be like, I don't really know my dad, but he's Jewish. He got my mom pregnant and fucking left.
Have you ever been to a reform congregation services and then gone to a church? It's the same thing, bro. It's the same fucking thing.
Literally, bro. They'll accept you in, too.
Yeah, that shit's gay, though. Like, if I'm going to be a Jew, like, I want to be full-fledged, accepted by the highest of high Jews in Israel.
You're such a fucking Stugatz. Listen, him. I gotta tell you, you gotta be you still. You can't just think you're gonna go to the highest echelons of Israeli Judaism. I've seen a lot of these, Orthodox elites. They, you're never gonna get there, bro. This is something that has been passed to them from their father and their grandfather, etc.
Sure. But at least I can be accepted as a Jew,
You will be. Have you heard of Rabbi Mizrahi?
No.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You fucking leave the Hitler shit alone, bro. This guy's gonna light your ass on fire. He's like a super strict religious Orthodox rabbi, Haredi. Huh?
How do you spell his name?
Great guy. Rabbi Mizrahi.
Yeah, he goes viral because the ceasefire genocide movement. Yeah, they use him as the voice of Zionism or racist Judaism because he's very conservative.
Oh yeah, I know Mizrahi. Yeah.
Listen to one of his lectures, but definitely he has one of the most watched Christian debates against a Christian. This guy has like 6 PhDs in Christianity. He's a professor of Christianity, and he gets destroyed in this debate. And at the end of the debate, it's a 3-hour-long debate. At the end of the debate, he goes, I know it's wrong, but my heart is in this, and they've been good to me. And after the thing, he emailed the rabbi and said, hey, listen, my wife's going to kill me. Like, I have to leave Christianity. My wife's going to kill me. And he has had 6 PhDs and he taught. He's a fucking professor of theology of Christianity at, like, one of the top Christian schools in the world. And got completely destroyed by Rabbi Mizrahi in this debate. But actually, I just watched part of it earlier today. But watch a couple of his lectures, bro. And you're talking about getting pissed off at society and the structures and certain things. Like,
don't waste your time, dude. Go read the Tanya. That is the secret book that Chabad does not tell you about. That's the book that they don't pitch on the street corner to the Schwartz that come by and say, I got a drug problem. What you going to do for me, Rabbi? I'm telling you, because that, honest to God, that is the only reason why Chabad is so positive, because it deals with basically quantum physics or particle physics, meaning that like they don't get angry anymore. And I've been to so many. Yeah, I mean, like the expression is, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. You need not worry about your future. Stop thinking and end your problems.
Yeah, so the Tanya is the beginning of Kabbalah. It's like the foundation of Hasidism, which is the mysticism.
That's a good book to read, man.
It's mysticism. It's what gets you ready for Kabbalah, because obviously without studying the Tanya first, you're not even eligible to study in Israel, to study the real Kabbalah. You have to, Hasidism is the foundation of Kabbalah. It's like it gets you ready for the mystical stuff and the really deep stuff, but you got to study the Tanya first, which is Hasidism. But yeah, watch a lot of his, like, every time he puts out a new speech, listen to it, bro. He goes off on the lefty liberals and the gays and all these fucking reformists and who are destroying the world and the George Soros. But he's also doing it from a religious authoritative perspective. So it's guided, it's healthier than
him. You know, listen, just remember that if you're going to marry a Muslim, that allows you to basically be a polygamist off the bat, okay? And you already know she's a piece of trash, talking the N-word, saying, fuck you, nigga, I'll go fuck another nigga. Like, you might as well fucking polygamize this bitch and become a Muslim, but really become a Jew. You know? Present yourself as a Muslim, but be a secret Jew. Be a cryptic Jew.
You can have multiple wives in Judaism. It's just very rare these days.
Really?
I know a guy who's religious who has 2 wives in Vegas. They're religious Jews, Orthodox.
But he had to have gotten the get, and then the women must be like kosher with the relationship.
Yeah, no, he got married in Dubai to both of them, and he had a wedding, a kosher wedding.
Oh, wow.
A rabbi signed off on both of the marriage things, and a religious rabbi. Yeah, I met this guy at a Mizrahi lecture in Vegas, and it was like mind blowing.
Bitch, I never heard.
See him? What's the difference? Just get this girl pregnant. Get this girl pregnant first off, and don't even marry her until she bears you a son. First off, okay. And second, after she does finally give you a son, and if you decide to marry her, just know that. What am I trying to say here? Oh, is that you can essentially convert to Judaism later on after the marriage and do whatever the fuck you want to do, bro. That's our point.
She's gonna, if you get this girl pregnant, she's gonna be laid up with some dude, and you're gonna be paying for their lifestyle through child support, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Whoops.
Yeah, fuck that. Maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah, we gotta strategize.
But listen, if you're a trucker, and you do get her pregnant and like you do separate, the chances of that court being able to garnish your wages to do the child support is probably very high. But if you know you're like an independent contractor or something, like there's a good chance that you could evade, you know, a lifetime of child support. There's many men that have evaded hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars in child support because they couldn't be caught. You know, they don't stick around in one place to get, you know, service processed. Like they're always on the move.
Work on your Mexican Spanish.
I'm just saying, the world is your oyster, and you're centering this bitch as your pearl, bro.
Text me, dude. Him. I can help you if you want, man. I can help you get shit situated if you want.
Him, if she's gonna say, I'm gonna go fuck a nigger tonight, bro, run for the fucking hills, man. What is wrong with you?
Literally. Literally.
Like, you got yourself a hoe.
I mean, she you know, she got real jealous of the Clubhouse app. She thought the Clubhouse was like replacing her. So she wanted to fuck a nigger.
See, this is the thing is this bitch needs to be on Clown House to get the dopamine feedback loop, but she's using your applesauce ass as her dopamine feedback loop, and now you're like, bitch, stop, leave me alone, go on Clown House and get your dopamine feedback loop. I ain't your fucking feedback loop, bitch. Like, what are we doing? Like, are you even questioning yourself? Like, what am I really doing with this poopa? Like, are we starting a business? Are we educating ourselves? Are we having a family? Like, what are you really doing with this poopa? Ask
She's
yourself
listening
that.
to Cardi B. She's not starting any businesses. She listens to Cardi B. I put my number in the chat. You should definitely text me. I can help you get your shit together, situated and stuff, if you want to have a better life than somebody who idolizes Nicki Minaj.
You could go to this yeshiva him and like bust your ass. It's a college, man. Listen, these Jews, they live the Greek lifestyle on a fucking plank bed. It ain't luxurious.
Literally.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they're turning themselves into mentats. Like, they're really, really studying and really, really focusing. And like, your brain does have remarkable powers. And it will help you long term to spend a couple months or however long, you know, in basically a dormitory or a hermitage or, you know, a school.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Like
yeah.
boot camp, religious boot camp.
Yeah, it's like religious boot camp. I've never done it, but I know people or I've seen people that do it, and it's like, I mean, I did it in
Yeah.
a military college, a Christian military college, but it's a Greek discipline technically is really what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, to study. But yeah, you got to wake up early. You got to wake up at like 6, 7 a.m. because you got morning prayers and stuff you got to do at 8 a.m. And then from 8 to, I think, like 9:30, you got to study. Or sorry, you got to pray, and then you got to study right after that. You got to study Tanya. Then you got to study Halakha, like the religious law. Then you got to study the Torah. Then you got to study Gemara. Then you got to study the Mishnah. You got to study Tanya. That's a big one for Chabad Yeshiva. You have to study Tanya. You have to study Hasidus. So you have to, I mean, even if you were to spend an hour a day on all those books, that's still like 7 fucking books, 7 hours, just an hour a day, just barely chipping away, you know?
But you're just expanding your consciousness. In many ways, it is like a psychedelic session, especially Tanya.
Literally.
Yeah, so I mean, you
Very
got
psychedelic.
you got to optimize your life, and like figure out what your best long-term strategy is and what your micro strategies are, and like, do you know what a Solomon test is, him?
No.
So my big macher friend from Beverly Hills, who's a trust fund baby, you know, and he's a good guy, his family's good people. He taught me about the Solomon test, and basically, it's a fake test where you're just constantly it basically it's communication, but what you're doing is like in the communication you're technically testing them, whether they don't know it, but you're constantly gauging people. And so what I'm trying to say is, like, when that bitch says she's gonna go fuck a nigger tonight, like, she is Solomon testing you. But you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're already married and you're on your way to not getting married. You're just in denial. Like, this is probably not a chick that you actually want to marry. That's probably the truth. I mean, and if you did marry,
Yeah, I mean, again, like if there was some Aryan woman, you know, with a huge bush that came my way and was like, "Hey, you want to like marry?"
but that's not the
Yeah,
point. That's not the
yeah.
point. Is you should go on the personal journey of self introspection or self actualization instead of hitching up with this poopa who doesn't really sound that amazing. I mean, you should be more concerned about yourself than the Heartbreak Hotel for little Ahmadinejad. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have separation anxiety. I hate being alone because when my mom and my stepdad got divorced, I was alone and I cried really bad, and I feel like that little fucking kid again. You know, when I'm alone.
But you got him. You have to realize what is the source of power in the universe. It is the God, which is in you. The kingdom of God is embedded in your flesh. So if you do go on the spiritual journey, it shouldn't deflate you. It should inflate you with power. And you'll realize that this poopa is one poopa. You can have as many poopas as you want if you got the power. You should focus in on, you know, personal development versus worrying about this poopa's heartbreak hotel.
Yeah.
I appreciate, the.
Dude, you can text me anytime, man. I'm Oh, anyway, yeah, you can text me, dude. I'll if you wanted to go down that route in the future, I could definitely help you out, man. Give you even a referral to a yeshiva. I have a lot of very respectable rabbis in my
The point is, you could become a Freemason down your street. You could become a Catholic down your street. What are you doing with your poopa?
or a Scientologist.
Yeah, or a Scientologist. What's the fucking difference? The point is, you can't get your
They give
poopa.
you a wife, bro.
Yeah, you can't get your poopa to give two fucks apparently about God. So you got a bigger problem on your hands than which religious organization you choose to LARP at.
Well, you also have to consider the fact that if there's any truth to the fact that the world really is ending, or if we are getting closer to the end, you have to also face the fact that if you're on the wrong side of this, you're going to be annihilated with just in the mud, just like the worst of humankind. And I don't think you want that. I think you want to be on the right side.
Bro, I gotta tell you, that's the least of your problems. You do not have to worry.
That's the biggest of your problems, man.
No way. That's not the. That is not the. I don't think apocalyptic rhetoric or apocalyptic, I guess, vision or opinion. To me,
No,
that's.
I'm saying if on the off chance that it's real.
I know, but you're gonna die anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you should do it anyways. So you should do the right thing anyways, and be with the good people and have a good life and have.
Yeah. Again, it does come down to strategic decision making, and Judaism does help with strategic decision making. But you could read Quran and see the whole thing is a gestalt. It is about the reaction or response to the information, because the information does touch on all the main topics, which is housing, love, food, clothing, etc. So, anyways, good luck to you. I hope this pussy's worth it, because, I will tell you, a great piece of ass with a decent attitude is like money in the bank. That's my opinion.
Exactly, and it's said that one hair of a pussy is better and can do more than 10 horses.
Listen, a pussy can bend steel and a pussy can bend mountains, but it doesn't sound to me like you got yourself that mountain mover or that steel bender. You tell me, if you really think it's that great, pursue it. But again, we're just consultants here on a social audio chit chat app, wasting our time trying to provide you with some outside, third party perspective.
The whole thing is a LARP. I'm LARPing as this dude who fucking gives a shit about somebody else.
No, you're LARPing as a wasp who wants to be a Jew, who circumcised himself, dating a Muslim Palestinian. The whole thing to me is one giant comedy show, and I don't believe any of it, and I think you're actually a stand-up comedian creating a fucking alternative reality for having fun.
Having an identity crisis. He's blowing in the wind, and he doesn't have a.
Yeah, but listen, your identity crisis is resolved when you study the Tanya. I'm telling you, go on eBay or Amazon and buy the Tanya, and it will resolve all of your conflicts. Because I'm a patrilineal Jew, and there was a moment in my life where I was like, I'm a nothing. I'm white trash. Because I'm not Jewish. I'm nothing. I'm like a nobody. I have no identity.
You were like, fuck this, right? Like, these bitches are annoying.
No, nothing like that. Meaning that, I'm just telling you, your feelings depend on the information you put inside yourself, which is basically the books you read. So, if you read Tanya, you're going to feel a whole lot better about your situation because it's a book of pure wisdom. So, regardless of whatever decision you make, this book will fill you with light. That's the whole point. It will enlighten you by lightening your load. You will let go of a lot of your opinions, and you'll say, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. Everything is the way that it should be. That, there is nothing new under the sun. That everything is the way it has always been. And what you're really doing is, coming on a social audio chit-chat app to just fucking have a good old time while your girl's out there fucking in there. Nah!
Maybe a few at the same time. But... jokes aside stuff, I think for now, man, I just, again, and I want to break her heart.
I mean, because I
don't wanna
died
be
laughing when
alone,
you just said that.
and I'm just kind of in this space, and it's all good. But anyways, what else is new and exciting?
I don't know. Your girlfriend's probably on Hinge talking to Tyrone, and they're planning on meeting up tomorrow for brunch.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Because if you eat too early in the morning, then you feel sleepy and you feel like shit the rest of the day.
These parents were like screaming and making noises and shit, so I just gave them a potato chip. And now they're like all chill and just crunching.
Oh, hey, Republican, you want to tell them what the whole world is about? Even this conflict
Oh,
itself.
potatoes. Yeah, we were
Yep.
we were joking about how everybody in the world throughout human history has technically been fighting and killing each other over potatoes. Meaning that like it is a commodities based, system of I guess conflict. Anyways, obviously, where are you from? Are you from Florida or where did you grow up?
I'm from San Francisco.
Oh wow.
So you're
Well,
What's that?
I'm gonna go
so you're
back.
gay.
So I'm gay? No, I definitely. Clint Eastwood was also born in San Francisco. Watch it.
I'm gonna go back down to South Beach in December, for Art Basel and South Beach, but I'd like to go to that Chabad there
Nice.
somewhere around there. Anyways, it's a beautiful place, man. My parents they moved. My dad divorced my Goyish mother, and he married a beautiful Jewish heiress, and they bought a beautiful house in West Palm Beach. And one time I told my dad, I said, you know what? I'm not getting married unless I marry up. I'm gonna marry a rich woman. He's like, ugh. He goes, what a horrible attitude you have. And sure enough, one day he's like, remember, John, when you get married, marry up. I was like, I told you that, and you chastised me, and now you married up, and you're telling me to marry up. And he just started laughing, because it's like, I mean, my dad's not that kind of guy where life is about money, but at the same time, people don't want stress, So, like, part of your relationship with, your woman, like, if you marry this chick, well, basically, I've read that, like, in Torah or in Wisdom, the one ultimate sin is to marry a chick that you're not really in love with. Like, that's considered the ultimate violation, like, the worst thing you can do,
Right.
and it
true.
will psychologically destroy you that like you are now committed to this woman, and plus now you have all the additional legal complications of the divorce and the settlements and the decrees and this and that. It's like you're setting yourself up for a giant fucking relationship with lawyers and judges that you haven't met yet, and you will, but like I'm just telling you, like, if this isn't like really real, meaning that you can't even have conversations like this, exactly like this with her, and be totally transparent, like, what do you really have? You don't have a relationship. You have a fake relationship. You have a fantasy relationship. It's not real.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, again, I do love her. I just want community, and I don't want to associate with fucking bottomless heathens. And so I want to become a Jew for the community and stuff. Because that's the thing, like, as a
My
Messianic,
point is, you could start a Chabad tomorrow and call yourself Jewish. Nobody's stopping you. No one will stop you from calling you a Jew and yourself a Jew in America and becoming Jewish and becoming an Orthodox radical Jew. It doesn't make a difference. You can say whatever you are. You don't need some guy named Rabbi Shlomowitz to give you a certificate. I'm telling you, America grants you that unique opportunity to say and do whatever you want. It is freedom of speech in action. If all of a sudden you say, fuck it, I'm Jewish, and you go all in and you do it yourself, or you start networking locally, or you start doing it on Clown House, or you could go to the yeshiva in Miami with Avishai. My point is, no one's stopping you right
In
now.
my room.
Yeah, you could go live in his anus and study Torah in your tuchus in your anus. The whole
not a
point
good idea.
the whole point is, you control now. You can LARP now. No one can stop you now.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to potatoes. The thing is, right, it's like this woman doesn't understand that in a community you can grow more potatoes and you can figure out ways to be more efficient in growing potatoes so that they grow more plentifully. And also, you're going to be able to protect
Has
better
this bitch ever even grown a fucking vegetable or a piece of fruit? Like, what does this bitch do that you are not even? Are you even engaged to her yet?
Yeah, I am engaged.
How
You
much
can't even cook, bro. I can tell
did
by
you
the
did you get her the ring? How much did you drop on the ring?
About $1,000 for my poor
I was
little.
about to say $1,000.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
nothing.
Local jewelry store.
I'm not trying to
But I
top
didn't go in debt for it, so
him.
that's good.
Listen to this. I bought this Jewish chick that I was engaged to. Her name is Jessica. She now lives in Miami and she's married to a rich opioid doctor, and they have many kids, and they're millionaires. My point is, when I was 26, I decided to buy a $20,000 diamond ring for her, and get engaged to her, and ask her dad, if I could marry her. So, anyways, I got insurance on that ring because I knew that this dingbat would probably lose the ring within like a couple weeks. So, anyways, I was fucking around with basically a bad business, and I invested my life savings into a bad business, lost it all. And then I realized, like, oh my God, like if I marry this girl under false pretenses, like I'm gonna ruin her life. Like this could be very bad for her. And like if I really loved her and if I was a strong man, I would end this engagement for her own well-being. And I won't have any sin or stain, on me. So that's exactly what I did. And I ended it. And she didn't give me back the engagement ring. I was like, okay. So, anyways, I called Geico and I'm like, hey, I ended this engagement. Like, am I entitled to any damages? She's not giving me back this $20,000 diamond ring. They said, we don't know. We'll call you back. So they call me back. They say, maybe. We'll let you know. They call me back like a month later and they're like, hey, we're mailing you a check for $23,500. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. So I call my sister. I'm like, hey, we're going to sushi tonight. I was like, they're mailing me a check for 23 grand. And so, anyways, her dad paid for it because like the insurance company went after her, for the ring. They said, give us the ring or give us the money. But anyways, my point is that like if you get married under false pretenses, I mean, it's like disastrous to your psyche, to your soul, and like it's not your destiny. Like your destiny really is with a woman. It might be with this woman. It might be with multiple women. I'm just saying that it's a very important issue, like it's such an important topic. I mean, because so many of these girls are playing games and they're not authentic people and they're just parasites and they're not sincere.
Mm, I appreciate it. I mean, it's like if we get married and we have kids and we start growing potatoes and then we don't work out and then she takes, herself and the kids, and when I'm old especially, I don't want to
You don't
work,
have to go down this road, bro.
grow all these potatoes.
Do you want to
I
go down this road?
won't have that many potatoes, and I'll have to be a slave to eat potatoes.
If you really want to farm potatoes, I don't know if you're. I get the analogy, but I don't know if you're also half meaning it. But if you want, I can set up to go to
that is my
Israel.
whole dream and goal in
Dude,
life.
you can go to Israel right now and fucking farm potatoes, like legit. There's a massive crisis in Israel for the farms. If you can go volunteer like right now to go work on the farms in Israel, they'll even fucking pay you a little bit. The food is free, the bed, room, and board is free. As long as you farm, they'll teach you like everything about farming there. What I would do is I'd sign up for that and then go there, meet a Jewish chick in Israel, and fucking you get married there. You're an Israeli citizen.
Yeah, so like, I don't want to be alone for like a second, but damn, that does sound like an
You're such a bitch, bro. You do realize you're never alone, right? Like the whole thing does. You do realize the whole thing has to do with God.
But wait, J Store, J Swipe, willing to convert? That sounds promising. And we can go to Israel and grow potatoes. My God.
You're gonna get laid, dude.
Yeah,
It's all about
progress.
Listen, just keep what you got and start going out on dates.
When we break up, and she'll be fine.
Listen, bro, just start going out on dates with Jewish chicks, and you know what? You'll probably keep what you got and just start cheating on her.
It's not a bad idea. But I'll tell you the truth, now that I'm circumcised, I don't want to be a piece of shit. Like, I was a terrible piece of shit because I wanted.
What do you mean? You have an aesthetically pleasing cock now. Your fucking body dysmorphia is over. You can finally have sex without fucking disgust of your own cock.
He's like he's spiritual now.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want you to know that there's no way I would be wasting my time having this conversation unless I was recording it. I gotta tell you, like, though I think this is funny and hysterical, I know that like this is not the root essence of productivity in my personal life, but you know, I got to tell you, like, this is very funny, and you know, I wish you well, but you know, anyways, Mazel Tov, and I just, you know, I hope that whoever you're with your whole life, you're able to grow potatoes.
100%.
For the purposes and the sake of recording, I'm actually a Black Hebrew Israelite. I'm not actually Jewish or affiliated with any religious Jews. I wish.
Those are the
I'm not.
fake Jews. Yeah. Those
I'm a
are the
black
fake
dude.
Jews, and you know, Jews are only black. You can only be Jew if you're black. Jesus was black. 100%.
So basically, what they're saying is that Jesus had a big old pee-pee.
No, this is the thing about Jesus that nobody wants to talk about. Jesus was the first. Jesus was the first trans man. I don't know if you know that, but he ran a trans troll on the Romans and the Jews. That's the real reason they killed him, because after all the trolling, he ended up dressing like a woman. He's like, "What are you gonna do now?" And then they were like, "Okay, we're gonna kill you now. We're sick of this shit." He's like, "Let's go." Yeah, that's right. Jesus. It's the whole thing is Zeus, man.
Yeah.
Hey Zeus.
God is Zeus. That's
Hey Zeus. Hey Zeus.
Yeah. Jesus was black. He was a G.
Don't fuck with the Jesus.
So you record just to like share it later with people, and like also,
You're being told don't go down this paranoia route again. Like, you're being live streamed into a different clown house room. You're being live streamed on TikTok. You're being live streamed on YouTube. You're being live streamed on Instagram. I mean, like, every conversation anyone has ever had with me on this app, I am here to film a podcast. Like, there is no other reason to be here. Like, if you're not here creating content, which is a product or basically an item, you know, like, what else are you here for?
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, another great way to do it is
You could see Avitai just like fucking took off real quick. He's like, whoa.
another great way to do it is to just give it to you know, your higher ups in government, and then you can get a promotion.
No. Nobody gives a fuck about this stuff. This is strictly like, I guarantee you that this is all just entertainment type stuff where the conversations, something dynamic happens in a clown house room, you know, when there's like a couple, like 5 people, 6 people, 10 people, and people are like, you know, actually muted and listening, and there's like real high value information being shared. And I do have a lot of those books where I can read things where it is like eureka moments. So yeah, but yeah, it's basically like, you know, growing potatoes, slicing potatoes, having a potato meal, and then and shitting a potato, waking up and having like a potato water, and then shitting and pissing more potatoes. Like, you see what I'm saying?
I mean, you know, I'm not really a fan of sweet potatoes though. I think those are the fake potatoes. I mean, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I love good sweet potatoes. Listen, my sister was dating this Israeli guy named Shlomo. And my sister had this house out in the mountains, and so we go out there for like Christmas or something. My mom comes, and my mom, you know, slices up all these potatoes, and she makes like a tray of cheesy potatoes, you know. And so for like 7 days we ate these fucking cheesy potatoes. Like on the third day, I was like, no more fucking cheesy potatoes. This is disgusting. The fourth day comes by, we eat those nasty. Fifth day, sixth, seventh, like seventh day, she's like, "Who wants the cheesy potatoes? We gotta eat more of the cheesy potatoes." And I'm like, nah, this is disgusting. How could they still be here 7 days later? Look at that. It's so fucking gross. Don't you fucking bitch. Nobody wants to eat your fucking cheesy potatoes. I fucking hate this. This is disgusting. You know, like,
Yeah.
that's my cheesy potato story. And my mom loves that story when she's, remember when we had those cheesy potatoes for the whole week? I can't believe they lasted that long.
Yeah, it's like legendary now. Legendary to me forever. Glorious. Dude, you know who, like, I don't understand how people can get on here and just listen. Like,
Well, did you ever get on here and then you realize very quickly that like talking is a drug? So people can't mute up because like they gotta have it and they don't care about being obnoxious or not even having like coherent conversations. That's the whole thing about a bang room. So like I've been filming Clown House for so long that when you hear a bang room and you hear literally like 10 people screaming at the top of their lungs at each other, like you just realize the insanity of people that like it is like, man, I was at the gym today and this kid was lifting weights and he had like, some kind of problem with his eyes, like a sleepy eye kind of thing, and like he was making like a retarded face because like he actually had like, some kind of disability or something. But I was just like, I didn't want to laugh, and I didn't laugh because I felt bad. But like, just seeing somebody making like an absolutely retarded cross-eyed face while they're lifting weights, and then they're not necessarily aware that they're maybe even doing it, like it was just something so funny about it. You just like, do you know what you look like, or like when you look that way, like, because anyways, it's something in the brain.
yeah. No, like in the Bible, it says, "He who laughs at the calamity of others will not go unpunished." So it's like, obviously, you don't want to laugh at like super horrible shit. Sorry, but I can relate. It's like I have laughed and I feel like such a fucked up person. But really, even worse than that is like, have you ever said things and you're like, man, I am really fucked up? Like, especially about women. Like, I've said crazy shit. Like,
Well, I've made personal attacks against people. Like I have created websites against people that I've come and like these are family members. Like I've done crazy things against people that like, and not even family members. Really, I said crazy shit about my dad's wife one time on the internet. Like I was just like super depressed. I was basically broke, like no more money to pay the rent. I'm drinking vodka, smoking weed. Like I'm just depressed out of my mind. And I'm like, okay, my dad's ex-wife stole my grandmother's money. Like, she ruined our family. Like I'm just making things up because I have nothing left to do other than to gaslight people to get the dopamine feedback loop from destroying that relationship even further. So the whole thing in Judaism on Yom Kippur is to go back and make atonement, which means humbling yourself and raising them up and saying, "I am sorry, I'm an idiot, please forgive me." And generally, most people will forgive you. But anyways, that is basically like a magical inversion where you can change your reality by doing a hermetic operation, as below, so above, as above, so below. Meaning, if you want some type of dynamic change up above from God, you have to do something down here. You got to scratch the zit, pop the zit down here to get something to release from upstairs. So that's Yom Kippur. That's how I would explain it.
beautiful. Thank you for teaching me this.
It's one day a year. Technically, it should be the holiest day of the year, meaning that you can go and ask for forgiveness from anyone. And in the process of asking for forgiveness, you forgive yourself for being an asshole and for being an idiot. You let it. You
Yeah,
let
I
it
get
go.
that.
It's going clear. You're taking shit off your plate, which is your mind. And if you have too much shit in your plate in your mind, like it's gonna get heavy and it's not gonna be fun. So
I like hold, a grudge against like a so-called friend that like I feel like he betrayed me. But so yeah, that shit like apologies can make a massive difference.
yeah, you
In
gotta
people's
apologize to that kid or ask him for forgiveness, and clear that fucking stain from
Well,
your
he fucked
memory.
me over, but I don't really give a shit about it anymore. Like, just be happy. Let me ask you this, man. Like, because converting to Orthodoxy, like, you got to study the Talmud and stuff. Have you like studied that stuff?
I have the Midrash. I have a lot of Jewish books, but I don't know if I have I don't think I have a copy of the Talmud. But the Talmud is just one
So,
book, and I guess that's the oral tradition or something. But I don't know. That's the thing is like you could read it and you can nitpick it and say, "Oh, look what this passage says about this fucking this kid or this whatever." It's like, all right, well, how old is this shit? And like, what did these people really deal with back then? Because people were only living to 40
no,
years
I'm
old.
inspired by it. Yeah, I'm inspired by it. I think it's like good tribal book. Like,
Well,
this is how tribes
the
should
big
operate.
the big one is Shulchan Aruch. You should read that one. It tells you when to tie your shoes, when to smoke a cigarette, when to pick your butt, when to pick your nose. It's how to be a Jew 24/7, 365 from start to finish. And it's like, ugh, this is exhausting. This is ridiculous. Like it's not an easy yoga. It's not an easy burden, but that's the thing is like nobody does it perfectly. You might get some people that do it perfectly, but some people are like, eh. They go Larry David. They're like, this is fine. I'm good. I'm good on this today. I'm good on this tomorrow. Like, people kind of pick and choose at a certain point. But I'm just saying, it's just so burdensome that like, it's see, you could be an academic Jew and not be a practicing Jew, which is a lot easier. Like study it and enjoy it for what it is, but by God, listen to the guy you just talked to. He's busting his ass in a fucking yeshiva. It's like you could do that in your casual time if you wanted to. You don't gotta uproot yourself and go live in a dormitory to study to read a book 16 hours a day. Ugh.
Wow. Yeah. I think the best of both worlds is probably just being a secular Jew, you know? It's like, especially if you got like, you're also, Anglo-Saxon stuff, or you can at least like pass as white. That's like the way, dude. There's nothing better.
You see, you're wrong, man. It's not about which label or identity you choose, which is the best. The best one is the cornucopia. The best one is Thanksgiving, where you learn the wisdom of all the world's religions. And that will make you Robespierre, you will embody the dandy in your profile. You want to make yourself smart. You want to make yourself wealthy. You want to make yourself live a life of love, and prosperity and security. Like but you can only do that with superior wisdom. So your dilemma is not about picking an identity or a personality or a culture. It's about, ugh, I don't have the wisdom I need to inflate myself out of this depression, to essentially make you into Andrew Tate. Like you could read Quran and hypnotize yourself with Quran and it would embolden you because it is an emboldening, posturing, reframing of your situation. So, but I'm just saying you need to work on your education, which is really just a hypnosis.
It's a good take. Anyways, man, I'm gonna get off of here. And if I had potatoes, I would eat them. But just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna go eat potatoes.
Rabbono
But
Shalom,
love you, man.
Rabbono Shalom. My work here is complete.
Yeah, have a good night.
However, you know your behavior.
I know I don't normally send.
I know, and the knowledge from there. All of it got from there. I always ask Matt a question about it. Like what happened, what did, like what is that?
have respected, loved, etc. unconditionally, and those have been the best relationships. That's all.
Okay. We also had Naya next. Go ahead.
Hi, beautiful people. Everybody has beautiful thoughts, but I just want to say, women, we want to feel safe. When it comes to being in a relationship with a man, if a man can create a safe place for us, then we will do everything in our power to make that man feel his best, be at his best, and provide him the unconditional love, respect, care, and understanding that he needs.
Get off the
But
phone,
when
no
it's
poop.
unsafe, when there's a worry or there's some sort of fear